Colombia is among the top 10 doing business reformers in the world for the third year in a row. Since 2005, the World Bank Group and its partners have been assisting the Colombian government and the private sector in their ongoing efforts to simplify business regulations. Burdensome regulation places unnecessary demands on business and imposes additional costs that discourage entrepreneurs and obstruct economic activity. For many entrepreneurs in Colombia, one burden was the frequent inspection visits made by public officials to their firms, a poorly planned compliance process, disruptive to business operations. Previously, it was a never-ending process. I would get numerous inspection visits throughout the year. As a result, I would lose a lot of time and productivity at my store.
First, fire and safety officials would come into the restaurant and tell me to place ventilation ducts at one height. Then health officials would come in later and ask me to lower it. There were many contradictions over the same thing.
Colombian authorities were able to trim the inspections process down to a single inspection conducted jointly by all officials. Nowadays, they come in a single visit, which saves me a lot of time and lets me focus on my business.
They don't come in as enemies anymore looking to fine us, but as advisors counseling us on how to improve our business. In terms of cost, a business in Colombia now spends 40% less when renewing its operating licenses, and public agencies are also saving by reducing the number of steps and time for inspections.
In the last few years, a government energized to reform has set up dedicated working groups tasked with pushing through key reform areas. One area is the time and cost to obtain a construction permit, a maze-like process involving 65 procedures across 19 different agencies.
52% of all constructions are illegal or informal constructions and belong mainly to low-income households. Most of the time it's because permits are too costly or take too long to obtain. And when a country is built on informal construction, it is not competitive.
The World Bank Group and its partners have helped pilot a new licensing approach in 2 agencies based on risk categorization of construction projects.
By placing projects in different categories based on size and complexity, we are able to significantly simplify approval procedures for smaller, less risky construction. The goal is to promote more formal construction.
With over 65 procedures across 19 different agencies, we have much work ahead of us, getting all remaining agencies involved and coordinated. Another reform area is revamping the country's trade logistics system. In the port city of Cartagena, a single window for foreign trade is aimed at simplifying import and export processes by cutting through the red tape.
A single window for foreign trade is a virtual window. You access it online and deal with over 17 different public entities in one place, so it helps save resources and eliminate corruption from the process.
This helps our export process because we are able to clear our certificates quicker and ship out our plastic preforms faster to our clients. A simultaneous inspection has also been introduced to make further reductions in time and cost.
A simultaneous inspection consists of all Colombian authorities being present together at the time of inspection. Previously, you had separate inspections carried out by each agency, one by anti-narcotics, another by customs, and so on. The international market is very demanding, and we work practically on a timer. The time saved with this new inspection system allows me to export more wood in less time and for less money. I was spending about $50 per cubic meter in storage, handling, and other costs. Now I am spending about $35 per cubic meter. We would still like the inspection to be automatic with scanners to avoid physical manipulation of the shipment, which tends to contaminate our plastic preforms and poses a serious risk with our buyers.
Although many of these reforms are in their early stages, they have helped trigger similar initiatives across Colombian municipalities, now tracked in the subnational doing business rankings.
Competitiveness is all about comparisons. The doing business rankings gives us an opportunity to size up against other cities and learn from those cities that are doing something better than we are.
In recent years, the city of Pereira has ranked among the easiest cities in Colombia for doing business, particularly when it comes to registering a business.
Los diferentes trámites que se hacían.
Previously, each different procedure had to be done at a different public agency. I had to stand in line for hours and wait a few days for a response, go to the next place and stand in line all over again.
Por eso con la Cámara de Comercio hemos diseñado el programa.
We have developed, in partnership with the local Chamber of Commerce, the Center for Entrepreneurial Support, which allows entrepreneurs now to register their business in less steps and in one location.
La verdad que se agilizó de una
The
manera.
process has been simplified considerably. I was able to register my business in about 3 hours and now have access to additional services on automated teller machines for certificates, payments, and other services.
Despite Colombia's ambitious reform agenda, business environment reforms are seldom the sole catalyst for generating investment, especially when it comes to attracting foreign investors. Without efforts by countries to market themselves to potential investors, companies will tend to overlook a country when selecting attractive sites for their projects.
Mucha gente todavía tiene la percepción de Colombia de los años 90.
Many people still have the perception of Colombia from the 1990s and 80s, of the violence, of the Medellin cartel. That is why, while we work on the reality of improving our macroeconomic conditions and our ease of doing business, it's also important to tell the world that Colombia has changed, because the reality has changed much quicker than the perception.
In 2006, the World Bank Group and its partners helped the municipal government of Bogotá and the Chamber of Commerce launch their own regional investment promotion agency, Invest in Bogotá.
Es una agencia proactiva. Nosotros
We are a proactive agency. We don't sit around waiting for investors to arrive. We have to go out and find them because they are not looking for us.
Invest in Bogotá, ellos
Invest in Bogotá approached us at a conference in Spain. They told us why we should set up a call center in Bogotá, focusing on its value propositions of skilled labor suitable to service, market access, and competitive cost structures. Colombia suddenly became an option, and when we decided to invest, they helped us find office space, negotiate with vendors, and set up our call center. Even today, after a few years, they're still lending a hand with business development. The 2009 Global Investment Promotion Benchmarking Report ranked Invest in Bogotá highest among subnational investment promotion agencies in the developing world and among the world's top 20. For Invest in Bogotá, a client-focused approach has been key in facilitating and supporting investments in targeted sectors.
Invest in Bogotá nos ayudó.
Invest in Bogotá helped us settle into Bogotá when we decided to set up a network access point in the city. We needed guidance on how to establish a foreign-owned subsidiary and how to obtain operating licenses for our high-connectivity servers and equipment.
En nuestro caso, tuvimos que sacar más de 75.
In our case, we had to get more than 75 permits to build an expansion to our plant. Invest in Bogotá helped us navigate through this process in just over a year. This would have taken at least another couple years without them.
En los primeros 2 años logramos atraer.
In the last 3 years, we have been able to attract 23 investments totaling $260 million. Within the next few years, these investments will have generated about 7,200 direct jobs. We are working on increasing our investment pipeline, especially during these tough economic times, but need also the help of regulators in further simplifying business procedures for our investors.
The World Bank Group and its partners continue to support Colombia's efforts to simplify business regulations and attract foreign investors. A recent initiative started by Invest in Bogotá teaches English to the city's labor force to make them more attractive to potential investors.
En este momento, con el programa Talk to the World,
With the program Talk to the World, we are learning not just how to speak English, but how to communicate with a whole new market, which will bring us all many opportunities.